About 1868,
Yeah, well,
1851 business with this treaties.
I was telling you that my position on the 1861 treaty, 1868 treaty, is that it's not valid because it was forged. And so, right from the very beginning, it's violated, it's null and void.
At its inception.
You forge a document, a name to a document, it's not valid. If it's not signed, it's not valid. So that treaty is invalid.
1868.
Yeah, so forget about trying to address treaty issues.
Right.
I mean, you still got to do that because they're right there right now. But the thing you want to do is you want to address that treaty being invalid. It's not even.
And where do you advise that goes at the World Court?
Well, you can take it to the World Court, yeah, but you've got to get some proof of this, and the proof lies in that document. Dialogue and description of events surrounding the signing of the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty.
Okay, say it again. Dialogue
and description of events.
And description of events
surrounding the signing
of
the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty.
1868 Fort Laramie Treaty.
Yeah.
And that document, you say that you've seen and touched this document where there was a cavalry scribe.
I had the document. I read it.
In your hands.
I had it in my hands. I gave it to Chief Bullscrow. 1972.
In Greengrass.
In Wounded Knee.
In Wounded Knee.
Yeah.
What year?
72.
In 72.
Yeah.
And then he was...
I gave him a copy. So the original is in the archives in Washington somewhere there in the U.S. Printing Office, the Indian Archives, or the Library of Congress. It's in one of those places on a microfiche file. Handwritten documents there somewhere. There's also printed copies of it. Yeah. So a copy needs to be obtained of that.
For proof.
Yeah, to substantiate your case, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once you get that document, you might not even have to take it to the World Court. You can just claim your land.
Mm-hmm.
Start claiming your land. Gotta have the document first. I've been trying to get people to do something about getting it. I can't get over there to get it right now, and may not make it that far.
Mm-hmm.
Jay went and looked for it. She looked at all those places, and it's not in the physical files. Jay, what did they say about that document? It said in 1973. Everything from after
1973 is not on the shelf.
Yeah, they put it in microfiche files.
Any files are 1973 or
Everything
micro?
up to 1973. So.
So my point of it was, because I've been using the court cases as to show proof to the tribes and to the clan mothers and the headmen that I've been using this Turo Wampum Treaty Belt, which was the first treaty made in 1600.
Yeah.
When the Dutch arrived, the British, the Romans arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And when they arrived here as foreigners, as pilgrims, as slaves, they did not have any such constitution that they have today.
Yeah.
That constitution foundation comes from the Turo Wampum Treaty.
Yeah.
Meaning that when they stepped on land and were allowed to come on, they seen that the clans rule this way, that the clan mother is the supreme authority on Turtle Island. And there was a hierarchy: turtle, wolf, bear, so on. because we call this land Turtle Island, is the hierarchy is that way. And when they came on the land, they seen that the Iroquois, Haudenosaunee, had a certain way of tribal law and custom.
Yeah.
And that they had to adopt this, and to keep that peace, they got a blue line. So there's two blue lines separating each other. And that Turo Wampum Treaty Belt is still in effect today. It was made for time immemorial.
Yeah.
And so I've been using that belt. Anything after that belt is what they, and we all know as what it's called, a unilateral act. Meaning it's one-sided. It's a unilateral act. It's anything after that Turo Wampum Treaty is that unilateral act, meaning that it's to further them to come into the lands. So they have this Turo Wampum Treaty. That puts them in the 13 slave plantation colonies that they call the United States of America, for America. And the capital was Kingston, and it was Albany, which it is still today. That capital of the United States of America is Albany. The corporate office for the Inc. corporate United States of America Inc. is called Washington, D.C. under 10009. How they got outside of that 13 colonies in that slave plantation and jumped the Turo Wampum Treaty is the Treaty of Canandaigua, made at 1794. That's to come outside of the 13 colonies and create the United States of America Inc., Washington, D.C. Inc., and also Canada Inc. That's in 1794. So anybody that made a treaty after 1794 with the United States of America Inc. dealt with a piece of paper. Some man, General Kit Carson, Thomas Pickering, Grant, Sheridan, all these killers were sent out with orders from Washington, D.C., not from over here in Albany and Kingston. So if you signed a treaty with Grant, Sheridan in 1868, Fort Laramie, all they did is bring around a piece of paper that's for a piece of company that's been bankrupt 3 times. So I'm saying that the tribes need to realize this, that the entities versus the living. One has a business number, one is the living. Spills blood. One is a piece of paper. Corporate. You can't make treaties with pieces of paper, corporation offices. Even if you got General Grant, Sheridan, Kit Carson running around with guns to force you to make contracts with this paper, all they're doing is working for this piece of paper. They're not working for the living. So it is null and void from the inception that no treaties can be made between the living and the dead. Or also corporation to corporations cannot enter into treaties. So they are all null and void. Everyone needs to stay with the Turo Wampum Treaty as native people, because that row keeps us under tribal law, custom, and usage for as long as that sun shines, that grass grows, and that river flows. And they don't have no constitution without this Turo Wampum Treaty. They got here as slaves and pilgrims and foreigners with no clan, as half man, half fish. Nimrod.
Well, you could try it,